Yo, man. We got Jimmy Butler! Oh, we got Jimmy Butler, man. I don't know how late I am. I was balling. But 7 months later, we got Jimmy! Jimmy Butler! Signed Jimmy jersey just came in the mail. Get it. Alright, if the Heat score here, then I love you. And if they don't, I don't love you. That's why Jimmy's gonna get a wide open layup, baby. Let's go. Take a picture of me with the guy who scored 40 points. Yeah, throw 40. Which is right? Is this right or the other way?
40?
This is 40.
Other one.
40 points, baby. Woo! Woo! Let's go, boy! Let's go! That's what I'm talking about. Moving on to the starter small forward, my man, Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler, he's the real deal. He really is the real deal. Seeing what he did in the bubble in the 2020 finals, I mean, really the whole playoffs, but specifically the finals, going toe-to-toe with LeBron James, not only guarding him, but also on offense, just going crazy. That solidified him to me as one of the greatest players in this league. Oh, hell, Jimmy. Jimmy Butler. Himmy Butler, Jim VP, the Jim Reaper, whatever you want to call him, he is a top 10 player in NBA.
3 days later.
Finds Butler, Butler turns, fires, it's good! As the shot clock expires, Jimmy Butler!
He did it, man. He freaking did it. Yo, wait a minute, who's that? Who? That can't be, wait, hold on. Oh.
Many months later.
Butler!
Jim VP. Jim VP. Jim VP. Please make this free throw. Jimmy Butler for the win. There's no doubt in my mind he's sending this series. There's no doubt in my mind. There's no doubt in my mind Jimmy Butler's ending this series. That is game. See you in the next round, New York Knicks. Beautiful. No doubt in my mind. I'm gonna get ready for post game. The Miami Heat will win this series.
A few moments later.
Over the top to Butler. Up and in! Jimmy Butler! Milwaukee had a timeout and didn't use it.
3 weeks later.
Defends Butler, a bump, the grind, the gyration, and the 2 in the foul. And they're having words. Look at this. Nose to nose. Eye to eye.
Let's go! I told y'all, man. Jimmy Butler is freaking him. As Kevin Harlan said, or whatever he said. Grant Williams, you big bum. What, were you born yesterday? You freaking idiot. Let's go! Let's go, baby. We're going. We're going. Let's go. My boy. Sir. What? Let's go. We do, baby. Let's go. We win. Woo! We're going to the finals. Oh man, that guy looks good. Not him. Oh, that man looks good. Turn me on, lad! Turn me on! Turn me on! Look at these dudes, bruh. Look at these dudes, bruh. Oh, hey, this man wanted busted, bro. La guarda seca, todo enfadilla, no discoteca. Hey, I will say though, Jaw's not finished. Jaw's not finished. Jaw's not finished. I still remember July 11th, 2014 like it was just yesterday. That was the day that LeBron released his "I'm Coming Home" article, in which he stated his intentions to leave the Miami Heat and return to the Cleveland Cavaliers. Now, funny enough, when that article actually dropped, I was in the middle of Miami Heat basketball camp, hosted by the great coach Tony Fiorentino. Y'all can see a picture of us right here. I know it's cropped out a little bit, but it's the only picture I could find because this was so long ago. You could see what I looked like back then. You could see how much things have changed. You see me in that old school LeBron shirt that I was wearing. And although this was a while ago, I still remember a few things from that day very clearly. One thing I remember is a little kid coming up to me pretending to hold a lighter. And he was like, "Oh, here's a lighter so you could burn that LeBron shirt because you won't need that anymore." And he actually told that to me while Tony Fiorentino was in the middle of giving a speech to all of the kids there. So basically, when the news dropped, Coach Tony, he called all the kids, it was a couple of hundred of us, into the main gym. And he gave us a very long speech about how we should be appreciative of LeBron and not take for granted anything that he did here over the course of those 4 years. And for some reason, that speech that Coach Tony gave always stuck with me, to not take those great times for granted. Maybe it's because my dad was a lifelong Dolphins fan. Obviously, when he was growing up, he saw them win Super Bowls and he was never able to see them win another one. Went like 40 years without having any real championship success. And of course, I grew up watching the Miami Heat Big 3 days with him, and we saw them win championships. That was really my first experience watching basketball. I started watching in 2010 when LeBron came here, so all I knew was championships. I thought you go into the regular season, you make the playoffs, you win the championship, rinse and repeat every year. That's how I thought it was. But my dad really instilled in me to not take that for granted, because it is hard to get to the championship. It's hard to win at that level, and make sure you appreciate it while you have it. So although my early years as a sports fan was filled with a ton of success, primarily because of LeBron James, I never took it for granted. And when he did eventually leave, I didn't hate him, but I appreciated him for everything that he did here. Now, I didn't root for him because I was a Heat fan first, but I definitely appreciated all the good that he brought to this city and to my life. And I feel the same way about Jimmy Butler. As bad as things ended here, nobody can ever make me hate Jimmy. His 5 seasons here gave me some of the best memories as a basketball fan. And I want to clarify, his 5 years here, in terms of basketball, it was a failure. Because this is the Miami Heat. There is winning and there is misery. If the goal is to win a championship and you fail to achieve that goal, then therefore the Jimmy Butler here was unfortunately a failure. The Miami Heat's success relative to other franchises is irrelevant to me. Unfortunately, they never won a championship in the Jimmy Butler era, and that will pain me for the rest of my life. And the reason it'll pain me is because of how close they got. And they got so close primarily because of Jimmy Butler. Now, of course, I understand he didn't do it alone. He had Bam, he had Tyler, he had Goran, he had the random bursts from various role players. But don't get it twisted. The main reason that the Miami Heat was a contender, Jimmy Butler's 5 seasons here, and they were a contender because whether they were the 1st seed or whether they were the 8th seed, they went to 2 NBA finals and they were 1 shot away from going to a 3rd. And the reason the Heat were contenders for those 5 years was because of Jimmy Butler. He pulled this team out of NBA purgatory. Prior to him, they were the definition of mediocrity with no cap space or assets to get out of it. But he said, "I want to come to Miami," did so, and gave us 5 years of competitive basketball and countless memories that we'll talk about for the rest of our lives. I was a kid watching LeBron James from the ages of 12 to 16, and I remember thinking, wow, this guy is a superhero. He made the impossible look possible. And Jimmy Butler made me feel the same way as a grown-ass adult with a mortgage and a 401k and everything. He made me believe that superhuman strength was possible. I remember the 2020 finals in Jimmy Butler's first year here. They were going against the Lakers. They were going against the GOAT LeBron James. And unfortunately, Goran Dragic got hurt. Bam Adebayo got hurt. The Heat were down 2-0 to start that series. And I remember thinking, damn, we're going to need a 40-point triple-double from Jimmy Butler just to have a chance at winning. And we got it. That moment of Jimmy leaning over the scorer's table in Game 5 after another 30-plus point triple-double, that moment is forever. He went toe to toe with the greatest player of all time, guarding him on one end and being an unstoppable offensive force on the other end. Those moments are forever. I remember the 2022 postseason. The Heat were down 3-2 going into Boston in the Eastern Conference Finals. Just like LeBron was back in 2012, where LeBron dropped 45 and 15 on 19 of 26 shooting. One of the greatest performances in NBA history, something that we had never seen before. In 2022, Jimmy Butler was in the same spot. And I remember thinking, damn, we're going to need a LeBron James once-in-a-lifetime performance from Jimmy Butler just to have a chance at winning. And you freaking got it. With Jimmy Butler dropping 47 points, 9 rebounds, and 8 assists, he actually did the impossible. I remember in 2023, as the A seed versus the daunting Milwaukee Bucks, we will never forget what Jimmy Butler did in Game 4. He willed his way to 56 points to overcome a double-digit fourth quarter deficit. That's a superhero. The Heat went into Game 5 with a chance to complete the all-time upset versus the Milwaukee Bucks. They were down 16 in the fourth quarter, and I fully expected to win. You know how crazy that is? To be the ace seed on the road, down 16 in the fourth quarter, and I fully expected to win because we had a guy by the name of Jimmy Butler. He was being guarded by Drew Holiday, who is widely known as one of the best perimeter defenders in recent NBA history. And Jimmy Butler was talking trash to him while down double digits. He was screaming, "On your head, I own you," as Jimmy Butler dominated him and showed us what the definition of unstoppable was. Miami ended up being down 2 with 2 seconds left. And I wasn't nervous. I was thrilled because we had Jimmy Butler. And of course, we know what happened after that. Remember the Eastern Conference Finals that year versus Boston? Remember 3%? 3%. Jimmy Butler didn't give no damn about no 3%. There was Game 2 in Boston where Grant Williams decided to poke the bear. I was sitting out there on the couch watching the game with my boy Hector when Jimmy and Grant Williams went face to face. And I looked over at my boy Hector and I said, uh-oh, do you realize what Grant Williams just did? I said, Grant Williams is absolutely fucked because Jimmy Butler is about to torture him. And sure enough, Jimmy Butler went on to absolutely sun him. Every time that man's back was against the wall, he found a way out. Every time. Every time he had the whole world doubting him, he proved them wrong. And that's inspirational. I know that's a lot of talk for a guy who doesn't have any rings, but it's hard to win a championship. And look what he had to do just to get there. So the fact that Jimmy Butler didn't finish the job here or that things ended ugly, that should not discount the fact that he is one of the most incredible players this franchise has ever seen, and Miami Heat fans should never take him for granted. And just like that kid in 2014 who told me to burn my LeBron jersey, I've had several comments over the last couple of days telling me to get rid of this Jimmy Butler jersey, and I'll never do that. Because it's not a reminder of how ugly things ended, but a reminder of how fucking awesome the last 5 years were. And as a die-hard Heat fan, I just hope it's not too long before we get back to that level of competition. And also, the jersey is signed, by the way. I won it in a contest. There was a sweepstakes through the Heat app a few years back, so I filled it out. And then like 3 months later, it said that I won a piece of Heat signed memorabilia. And I'm over here thinking I got like a Gabe Vincent signed sock or something ridiculous like that. But next thing I know, I got a signed Jimmy Butler jersey showing up in the mail. So that to me alone is one of the coolest things ever. So that jersey's staying up. And at the time of this recording, which is actually during halftime of the Super Bowl, I just watched Kendrick perform Not Like Us, which is crazy. But at the time of this recording, we saw Jimmy's first game with the Golden State Warriors. It was against the Chicago Bulls, and he looked good. He looked active, he looked engaged, he looked aggressive, and he looked happy. Only time will tell if that will continue or if this is just a honeymoon phase, but it was nice to see Jimmy Butler get his joy back. I was conflicted watching his first game with Golden State because I was happy for Jimmy, but at the same time, I'm kind of praying for the Warriors' downfall, not just because we have their top 10 protected pick, but also because I don't want Jimmy to think the grass is greener on the other side. I don't want his decision to leave the Miami Heat to be validated because at the end of the day, I still am a Miami Heat fan first. But for Jimmy to think about where he came from and his rough upbringing, To have a mother that literally told him that she doesn't like the look of him, so she kicked him out of the house. To be a guy that was never highly recruited, never had the most skill. But to come from that and just put your head down and bust your ass and work every single day after day after day to get better to the point where you are now a superstar, despite all the odds stacked against you, you have to respect the hell out of a guy like that. And we'll never know what truthfully happened behind the scenes between Jimmy and Pat Riley and Mickey Arison. So I think it's stupid to form opinions based off all the speculation, because what we do know is Jimmy Butler was one of the most fun, exciting, and overall best players this franchise has ever seen. And I want to personally thank him for 5 great years filled with amazing memories. Another thing we know is March 25th is going to be a movie as Jimmy Butler and the Golden State Warriors come to Miami for a game, and it's going to be absolute cinema. Fortunately, I was lucky enough to already be able to get tickets, so I'm super excited about that game and just see what the overall reaction is going to be like. I was also lucky enough to go to LeBron's first game in Miami after going back to the Cavs. I was at D Wade's first game in Miami once he was with the Bulls. Both of those guys got huge standing ovations, so I'll be very curious to see what kind of reaction Jimmy Butler is going to get from the crowd. I think it will end up being mixed, but of course, I will give him the standing ovation that I think he deserves. Most of the time, the Heat fans do that. The only time it really didn't happen was another return game I went to. I went to Hassan Whiteside's return game once he went to the Portland Trail Blazers. There was one guy standing up cheering for him in that entire arena, and it was me. But either way, it'll be nice to see Jimmy Butler back in town again. I'm very curious to see if he gets a video tribute. Usually the Heat reserve those kind of stuff for guys who won championships here, and obviously Jimmy Butler did not. But I do think that he deserves one because he is the 3rd greatest player in this franchise's history. But whether he gets that tribute video or not, I do hope and believe that one day down the line, Jimmy Butler in this front office can sort of mend fences and he does get his jersey retired one day, because it absolutely deserves to be hanging in the rafters. But let me know all y'all thoughts down below, and feel free to drop some of your favorite Jimmy Butler memories from his time with the Miami Heat. I don't exactly know when this video will be uploaded because it's going to take quite a while to edit. But make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe because all the support is greatly appreciated. That being said, I'll see y'all in the next one. So peace out, everyone.
Hope you motherfuckers have a good day.
Pull up in the city trying to get that dead face. Do it on my own, I don't need no dead weight. Had to kill him off, yeah, I need a head space. You know this homegrown bitch don't offend me.